Well, good afternoon and welcome to Swift Current, Saskatchewan, Canada. We are right in the heart of the prairies. Swift Current, as you see, named after the Swift Current Creek, founded in 1883 as the Northwest Mounted Police used Swift Current as a settlement for trading. Still a little snow on the ground here as spring has officially begun. And everyone ready to see the sun come out and take a trip inside the Credit Union Iplex, which plays host for the second time to the 2016 Ford World Women's Curling Championship. You see the teams here inside our feature game. It is Japan taking on Russia. Both teams undefeated. Luke Coley joined with Hans Frauenlob, and there's our teams, both 2-0. Good start, different ways of getting here, but it is inexperience versus experience.
That's right. This Russian team is coming into this tournament on a roll, having been the European champions. Japanese team, a young team, but we saw them yesterday. They played extremely well. I'm looking forward to this match, Luke.
Yeah, this young Japanese team was all smiles yesterday, especially Satsuki Fujisawa, their skip, playing 100%. An outstanding game in their victory over Italy. Now they take on Russia, who has World Championship podium aspirations, and not just on the podium, but on the top of it, hopefully at the end of the week. The handshakes, as you become used to at the start of these games. All four sheets in play from here on out. Of course, just 2 games earlier in the draw this morning.
So every team's had a taste of the ice. Now we're settling in, and let's meet our lineups. Here's Team Japan.
Their lead, Yurika Yoshida. Second, Yumi Suzuki. Third, Chinami Yoshida. And their skip, all smiles, Satsuki Fujisawa. And they will take on Russia with their lead, Karuka Izek. Second, Alexandra Reva. The third, Margarita Fomina. And their skip, Anna Sidorova, 2-time reigning bronze medalist at the World Championship. And let's look at the standings early on. Canada, Japan, and Russia all at 2-0, followed by Germany and Sweden, who are both 1-0. And then as Denmark sits there at 1-1 along with Switzerland, lost earlier today. Korea, Scotland at 0-1, while Finland, Italy, and the US all sit at 0-2, entering this 4th session. As I said, a full slate of games for this afternoon draw on a Sunday. Our feature games on Sheet C. On Sheet A, and Sweden taking on Germany, both at 1-0. Sheet B, someone will get their first win. Finland and Italy do battle. While on Sheet D, it is Scotland and Korea. They will also have a team get their first victory on Sheet D. As accustomed, the draw to the button, or last stone draw, pardon me. Japan will have the red stones and hammer, as Russia will throw the yellow. We will get things underway with the Russian lead, just awaiting the go-ahead from the officials. See how aggressive, Hans, we've been talking about the Japan team younger. They're still getting to know everything. How aggressive will they go against a Russian team that's been here, done that, reigning European champions?
It's interesting. I was talking with the Japanese coach, J.D. Lin, before the game, and he was saying his team, after their impressive 2-0 day yesterday, are still feeling pretty free and easy and playing with confidence. But Anna Sidorova, European champion, bronze medalist last year at World Women's, so they'll be cautious. But I expect the Japanese will take their opportunities if they get them.
Well, they do start with the hammer, and we'll find out how aggressive they want to play. I think Russia will want to try and go early at them, put the center line guard out in front. That one actually intending to come in and goes just top 12 foot.
You see some of the Japanese fans here at the iPlex. Great turnout Sunday afternoon.
Hard not to cheer for the Japanese. I will definitely become a fan favorite with the home country not on the ice because of the smiles, the enthusiasm, wear their emotions on their sleeves.
And the curling fans love to see that. Feel a real connection to this team.
So Russia brings her in, and we see the hit.
So the Russians are opening cautiously, throwing it into the rings.
Thought coming in they might want to try and put that pressure on, but Anna Sidorova likes to play it a little cautiously without the hammer.
Kiruka Izek. Although she's only 32 years of age, she has enormous international experience. Played in her first World Championships at the age of 17 in 2001.
Well, enough to get rid of that stone, and it will just roll out of the rings. Now, it's a less risk to put up the corner guard.
There's definitely a no-risk possibility here, so you might as well have a crack. Eureka Yoshida. Having seen this Japanese team a couple of times now in this tournament, my Japanese is improving, so.
Mine isn't. We'll rely on you for that one.
It's extremely limited. I can count to 10. Russian second stone, Alexandra Raeva, flashes that one. So, game on right here in the first.
And in seeing those two games of Team Japan, these are the shots they love to play. It's the team shot. They'll throw this to the sweepers, and you'll get to see the communication from them right away of how they talk to their skip, making sure they know what weight's being thrown.
Yumi Suzuki.
That one really came down. They had to wait to try and get the curl. It goes top part of the house.
Well, that's a really good spot because right behind the guard, but high in the rings, so perfectly buried, but there's no way for the Russians to follow it, so they're going to have to try the run back.
Well, there's the run back made.
Nice recovery from that first stone flash from Raeva.
Raeva makes a nice shot, able to just play that, doesn't overthrow it. Does, though, leave a guard still out in front. That's when you play the quieter weight. You leave that stone there.
And one of my limited Russian vocabulary is dabai, which means hurry.
Well, trying to wrap another one around is this Japanese team. And they go top 12 foot.
So it's a good no-risk end here for the Japanese after that early flash from the Russians. They can go around these corner guards. If it works out, they can try to close it out for a deuce, and if it doesn't, you can keep it open for a blank.
Margarita Fomina, third for this Russian side. Also lots of world experience for the 27-year-old.
Really working this one, Luke.
Try and get past the front. Will just touch it, move it over, and slide harmlessly through the rings. So we look at the rules of play, 6 ends minimum. 38 minutes of thinking time and 1 60-second timeout where coach will come out and discuss things with the team. Day 2, Hans, common theme with this Japanese team, you get a miss, and what are they going to do?
Well, yesterday when we were watching them, they were playing the percentages, and they're playing the percentages here. Line 1 on the wings, they're splitting the house, trying to draw one to the other side of the house. Here's Tsunami Yoshida. Sweepers are saying this one's a bit light. So,
Well, left that a long way, and it'll end up being just a guard out in front. So a mistake back, and Anna Sidorova quickly with the broom down. Let's hit this one.
yeah, the Japanese may regret that. The Sidorova team is a very strong team, and you don't get very many chances to try and put a deuce up on them. Outside roll, and she spins back a little bit. I was going to say it almost got a little bit of cover beside that corner guard way up at the top there, but good stone. Takes the play out to the edge of the sheet.
Well, electing to keep things safe. They're going after this one, not wanting to get into too much here early on. Could draw the behind the corner. Right on the beak. So just one stone in the rings, a couple guards out in front. As skip stones are upon us in this first end.
Nice shot. Sidorova has to be a bit careful here. She can't go across the face, otherwise she'll give the Japanese a chance to go around that guard. So she needs to roll this a tiny bit inside just to keep it on the rings. And Anna Sidorova and her team have come here very determined. They've been on the podium before at this event, but they want to get to the top of it.
Last 2 being on the bronze medal side of things, winning the bronze medal game. Gets a little flip inside. Knows what that gold medal feels like at the European side and the World University Championship. Want to take it to the World Women's level.
Here's our first look at Japanese skip, Satsuki Fujisawa.
I'll stay into that side of the house. Sidorova try and go for the roll now, Hans?
Sidorova is definitely going to try and keep it on the rings and make it a tough blank for Fujisawa.
Well, a little slip there. Grab the wrong color stone.
Well, some teams are very, very particular about the order of stones. All of the stones are individually numbered. So Karuka noticed that Anna was going to be playing a different stone.
The Japanese stone.
Yes, which would probably help the Japanese a lot more than the Russians.
Looking for the hit. And will it stay on the paint? Very close. And That'll mean they hit to roll out and blank the end.
And now the Japanese have a couple of options. They can nose hit this one and still blank. Can't roll to the inside, of course. And there we see it. Just clinging on to a bit of that blue paint on the outside of the 12-foot circle.
So final stone, Satsuki Fujisawa try to blank this first end, retain the hammer. And there's the clean. Roll it across the rings and out. So nothing doing in this first end as Japan with the hammer will retain it. After the blank first, we're through one, no score. Japan-Russia from Swift Current, Canada. Welcome back inside the Credit Union Iplex. Luke Coley, Hans Frauenlob. No score, second end, 2016 Ford World Women's Curling Championship. Middle of 3 draws today on the ice. There'll be 3 draws throughout the rest of round robin, all the way till Thursday evening, where it'll be the top 4 of the 12-team field that'll be into the playoffs or possible tiebreakers.
All right, so it's game on, Luke. This one did go across the center line, so this time the Japanese are going to elect to throw up a corner guard. Eureka Yoshida.
So corner guard out in front. And game on, see how Russia wants to go, try and get things to the center.
Sidorova is asking for the center guard from lead Karuka Izik.
Well, tight center line guard. Obviously the one in the house isn't ideal.
That is available to the Koreans.
As they decide what to do, we'll look over Scotland and Korea. Eve Muirhead, 2013 world champion, losing their first game to Sweden, while Korea losing their first Someone will get their first win of the championship. And here, a hit and stick to score an early 2. And Eve Muirhead does just that. As Eve Muirhead made it to the final the last time the Worlds were in Swift Current, losing to Germany's Andrea Schopp in 2010. Japan plays that come around.
Well, this is going to be an entertaining end, curling fans. The Japanese ignored the Russian shot rock, decided to take their own shot around the corner guard. So now it's an interesting decision for Anna Sidorova. Do you try and build the end around that one that's only half in the 8-foot? Not really strong enough to run out the end with. Just going to play T-line weight down towards that Japanese shot.
So they want to move it back a little bit, not just the straight freeze?
Looks like it. They have options here. Straight freeze is a good shot. Little bump is a good shot. Can't be short though.
And didn't have the weight, will come up short.
So now the Japanese immediately pounce on that Russian shot rock. So Satsuki Fujisawa pointing to her knee, which is a new weight communication signal to me, but I'm guessing, and that's a timeout, or that's very early in the game.
Are they calling for is it another handle?
It may
I saw
be
yesterday with the X, the technical timeout.
It does look like a technical timeout. So there you see the LED lights on top of that stone. And that's a mechanism to determine if the players let the stone go before the hog line. Sometimes it doesn't reset properly. Japanese girls having a laugh about it.
We saw them do that yesterday early in a game, and the officials stand on the hog line just to make sure.
As she's done again. Very nice weight control by the Japanese. How far do they push it though? Just into the back 12 foot, so they are lying 2. Probably would have liked another 3 or 4 feet of weight on that, but a good result. But chance here for the Russians to hit and roll inside. Alexandra Rayeva.
I'll try and make that perfect roll, but just comes out the other side a little bit. On the other side of the center line. It is shot stone.
That one fooled them a little bit. They were asking Kira Izek to sweep it on the high side to try and get it to curl, and it actually over curled.
Is there a preference of which way to roll at this stage?
On this shot, well, you could, squeak the guard and just roll behind the center. If you can roll behind the corner guard, it's golden as long as your second shot.
So that's the call, Yumi Suzuki. And right on the nose, which gives a bit of an out now for Russia to get at that one behind the corner.
Well, now the Russians actually have 2 options. They can flop to the inside, or more likely they can hit about half of this stone and make the double takeout. So we see how crucial it is, stone placement. Margarita Fomina.
Now will just end up hitting and rolling over. Still good plan B, as they are shot stone.
And also in a position where makes it a bit troublesome for the Japanese. There we see Coach JD Lin zooming in with the binoculars.
And their alternate, Mari Motohashi. JD's been with the Japanese program since 2013 and is with them till 2018 at least, depending on where it goes from there.
We mentioned the Olympics. The 2016 Ford World Women's Championship is the first qualifying event for nations to get into the 2018 Winter Olympics. Jams it though.
And I think gets away that they're out counting that one that they jammed in the back.
So I think that worked out pretty well for the Japanese. If we get an overhead shot, I think Japan will wind up lying too. We'll have a look at it here. There's the contact just on the nose. Jams on the back, but red is lying first and second.
Yeah, not much else they could do on that with that stone in the back part of the house.
That's true.
Can they get both the reds going?
I'd like another look at the top angle before I'd answer that question, Luke. It's possible.
Well, Fomina will get that top one going, enough to spill it all the way out and through.
Good shot, but still a chance here for the Japanese to work for their deuce. There we see Russian coach Roger Schmidt.
He's really helped this program. You've seen the growth of the Russian side under his tutelage.
Of course, Russia hosted the Winter Olympics in 2014 rather, excuse me. And that's building a real legacy of curling in Russia. Not only do they have the rinks in Sochi, but they're building rinks in other parts of the country, developing both disciplines of the sport, in the fours and the mixed doubles. And Roger has had a lot to do with that. Saw the Japanese come up short on an attempted split the house draw on the first end. Let's see how they do here.
Don't think that's an issue on this one.
Nice shot. Brought it past the tee line just so they didn't leave the Russians a hit and roll behind cover. So the Japanese with a little something going here in number 2. No score yet in this game. Wherever you're joining us around the world on World Curling Television, we're glad you're with us. Coming up on 11:30 in the evening in Moscow. So if you're joining us in Russia, thanks for staying up late.
Well, trying to make that roll. Zek on the sweep. I'll hit and roll big over to the side and out.
So an interesting choice now for Satsuki Fujisawa. Do you drill another one around that corner guard? Do you try to come around the center guard? From the broom placement, looks to me like they're electing to go around the corner guard. No, they're actually
Open
looking
side.
to split the house. It's a conservative play, but a sensible one.
Now, do you play this thinking that Anna Sidorova's not going to play the come around just and ignore him? She's not going to take that risk early in a game?
You're gambling exactly that, Luke. So if Sidorova did elect to try and draw around that center guard facing 2 and made a small error, it brings in the chance of a 3 for the Japanese.
Well, get a look at the hog-to-hog time. A lot of the teams use to judge in 13.5 seconds. Should sit back part of the house.
Exactly where they wanted it. So the Japanese gamble does pay off. Sidorova is going to hit this one.
Yeah, situation probably doesn't call for going a super aggressive shot to try and go around the center, go all out. You make the hit and roll, force Japan to make their shot to score their 2.
Yes, you never want to make your opponent's shot for them. It does happen sometimes, but you never want to do it. Unusual release there.
Yeah, every release just a little different. That one seemed a little odd even from the regular release of Anna Sidorova. Just still able to execute. Let's look at this one.
Just watch her hand position just before release. She takes it to the back of the rock and then just rotates it. So she need to have an awful lot of practice to be able to do that repeatedly and consistently.
Yeah, without setting it off of the path. Executions there. Now Japan can execute the open hit. They will get first score of the game and score a 2. Trying to be efficient with the hammer.
They don't seem too concerned about it, so they must like the line. And 2 points it is for Japan.
Well played end. They get their corner guard, they utilize it, and the deuce goes to Japan in an early 2-0 lead in a battle of 2-0 teams. Here in draw 4, Japan, an early lead. Well, Japan taking on Russia, our feature game. Luke Ole, Hans Frauenlob from Swift Current, Canada, the 2016 Ford World Women's Curling Championship. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying this one early on. And Japan hasn't shown any nerve so far against the reigning European and world bronze medalist in Anna Sidorova.
That's right, Luke. The Japanese are just playing their game, and they're playing it well. Blank the first end, hold that hammer into the second, used to throw up a corner guard, and made a great come around. then opened it up and traded stones and walked away with the deuce.
First stone into the forefoot, calling for the hit. And Russia not wanting to set up something with that stone in the forefoot, but they're not able to remove it. So the flash on the hit for Karuka Izek.
Look of puzzlement there on Izek's face. She was wondering, did I roll it in or did I just curl? Regardless, the net result is the Japanese stone remains in the house. A little deeper than they wanted.
Trying to take advantage of the 4-rock free guard zone and slides 4 feet too heavy.
A little rush of blood to the head there from the Japanese team.
Well, Redemption is asked for now to make the double. Over curled on the last. That double makes them both go away. And just the lone stone out in front.
Nice shot by Izek. And after you gas your first one, you really cross your fingers and hope for a chance to make up for it on your second one, and she sure did. Nice double takeout there.
Yumi Suzuki. Get the hit. And that one will roll out and stay in that dead zone out in behind the rings. That's similar to, very similar to the first end, even though, except hammers swapped.
Yes, as the late great Yogi Berra would say, it's deja vu all over again.
And it ain't over till it's over.
So that restaurant is too crowded. Nobody goes there.
So the corner guard, no surprise seeing Fujisawa go out to peel this guard.
This Japanese team, I'm impressed by their decision making. As I mentioned, I had a chat with Coach J.D. Lin before the game, and I was asking him, how much does your team lean on your experience for strategy? And he told me this year, even though it's a young team, they've made the successful transition to actually taking ownership of their strategic choices. So the team's making the calls, they're making good ones. If they make a strategic error, they talk about it after the game. But Satsuki Fujisawa was totally in charge of the strategy.
Yeah, and that's something you're not going to get into in the middle of a game. All the teams have their video cameras. They'll record. They'll be charting what the decision is and make notes. And it's not, you should have played this. It's, let's talk about that decision. What were you thinking at that point?
That's right, Luke. But speaking of Fujisawa, we've seen very little indecision.
Yeah, Broom goes down.
She makes confident calls. She makes them quickly.
That's always easier when you do score multiple points with the hammer and are able to play this type of game.
And that certainly does. Tsunami Yoshida.
Well, catches it thin, but with the big weight. Suzuki able to slash that one across.
So you get the sense that this Japanese team isn't going to get sucked into a game when they don't have the hammer, of letting a lot of rocks accumulate and pile up, especially when they've got a lead.
Yeah, not much difference in age. Fujisawa 24, Sidorova's 25, but you look at the resume behind both of them and a lot different extensiveness and experience at this level. But both just playing their game early on in this one. Sidorova keeps moving the guards around, trying to maybe get a mistake out of the Japanese side in the peels. But Chinami Yoshida makes that one go away.
And even though it's early in the game, when you see a team like the Japanese get away to a 2 or 3 point lead and start peeling stones, the frustration level starts to keep up. You come up, you get impatient, and you try to force things to manufacture something. Not.
Well, this the open draw to the wide side, and it goes just as a biter. As that one hangs around, we'll look over Finland and Italy second end. And Federica Apollonio at 0-2, gave up the steal, a 2 in the first, and facing a couple, trying to play this out-turn draw. Been facing pressure in these first couple ends, and not the start that Italy wanted after 2 losses yesterday. Trying to use that one, but they'll just miss it and roll off. And it looks like another steal of 2 for Finland. So 4 stolen points and 2 ends for Finland to lead that one. Well, Japan knew this was going to be a different type of game than the ones they played yesterday. Both Russia and Japan beating Finland and Italy on day 1 for a battle here.
That's true, Luke, although on the other hand, they are playing the game the way that they played against those other perhaps less strong teams. With the hammer, Japanese were happy to use the corner guards, play good percentage curling to try and generate a 2, and without the hammer, they really try to close it down, take away any chance for an opponent to get more than 1. It's good fundamentals.
Well, playing to the back part of the 12-foot. Looking more and more like a blank possibility.
I love listening to the Japanese call sweeping strategy and shot strategy. They always sound like it's, you know, it's a party.
You wouldn't know whether they're up 2, down 2, or a tie game.
Working it hard now, though. They don't want this one to overcurl. They lose the shooter.
Hoping to stick so that Sidorova would have to roll out to get the blank, not give her the freebie to throw this one through.
So now at least we don't have to put the perfect game curse on Satsuki Fujisawa. First half shot.
Yeah, that's done. As they're looking underneath, maybe it had something. Good look at the running surface.
Such a rare occasion where something bad happens when Fujisawa throws the rock that they do take a look at the running surface of the stone.
Well, Anna Sidorova, a little extension, pushes this one through. And no score. The second time in 3 ends, it's a blank. And it remains 2-0 Japan, leading Russia of the hammer when we're back for the 4th of the Ford World Women's Curling Championship. Well, we've seen 2 blank ends so far. Japan scoring their 2 with the hammer. And Russia will try to do just that with the hammer in this 4th end coming up. Try and dictate play their way a little bit. It seems Japan sort of controlled the end with the hammer. They got to play behind the corner they wanted to. Russia will try and do that themselves in this 4th.
That's right, Luke, and in order to do that, they'll need a bit better placement at the lead stone. Had a little bit of trouble getting ends set up.
Well, Eureka Yoshida, 84% for the championship. That's 5th among lead stones. Well, I've seen this a few times from both sides with that first stone over curling. That one by a few feet.
So as you predicted, Luke, the Russians now are going to try to dictate their own terms and set the corner guard.
Well, 79% for Izek. That's 10th among lead stones. These 2 teams, the top percentage teams coming in to draw 4. A very long corner guard. Well, Sweden and Germany both with victories yesterday in their lone game, and Maria Pritz throwing 4th stones has a chance here to capitalize with the hammer and score 2. Another team that's been in that championship final before, but has yet to pick up that victory with this foursome. And Maria Pritz right on the nose gets a 2 and a 2-1 lead through 3 ends of play. Well, this is a little difference between the teams of strategy. With that guard being very long, going after and trying to play around the center with the hammer.
Sidorova electing not to use the corner guard that she just threw. Instead, she's going to chase the Japanese shooter. Rolls away to the wing.
Well, rolls off, just that 1 stone. In the house, 2 guards. Yumi Suzuki, 86%, tied for 2nd at the 2nd position. A little roll in, not the roll behind the center they're ideally going for.
Leaves that hit and roll for Alexandra Areva to attempt.
You can see the numbers there, 84%, 4th at the 2nd position. Right on the nose. Couple guards, 1 stone in the house. Keeping you up to date, all the other games, 4-0 Finland leads, and Apollonio chance here. It looks like nothing else in there. Opportunity maybe to blank the end. Trying to hit and roll out, trying to hold the line. And we'll catch a good chunk and roll to the center. Not able to get the blank they're hoping for, but take their one, and they're on the board 4-1 after 3. All that corner guard well out in front, sitting on the World Curling Federation logo. Are they trying to use this now?
Well, I think Sidorova, you've got an option either way. You can roll behind the center, or she probably would prefer to roll to the wing behind her own guard.
Able to get the little flip. Rayeva, but look at the separation of those two stones. Look how far, not fully buried. Guard really not a factor.
Yeah, the way it curls on this ice with down weight, and also with the effectiveness of the Japanese sweepers, you're right, Luke. It should be easily accessible for Chinami Yoshida.
And look at those numbers, 90%. Japanese third. Tops at the third spot.
90% at third is mighty fine shooting. They're close to the roll.
Use the center.
Very nice stone by Yoshida. And a great read there by Fujisawa as well. It is behind the tee line though. We'll take a look at it on the replay. Here's that nice clean release from Chinami Yoshida.
And there's the communication, the arms out.
Both sweepers are contributing to the roll. Great result.
Definitely one of the more, everyone's a team, but definitely they focus more on the team orient than others you see. As Russia tries to wrap this one around, gets to the forefoot.
Lovely shot there by Margarita Fomina.
Yeah, very nice. Using her sweepers as well.
That's just about an ideal position. Fully behind the guard. Biting the top of the forefoot. Just enough in there to get shot. There we see our score line. Japan's out in front.
Was this force the run back, or is the jam a worry playing the run back?
Well, the jam is definitely a factor on the run back, but I don't think Japan has any option other than to try it. So they won't be trying to running it straight back. They're going to try to run it across the face of it, or just change the angle so they don't jam. There we see the contact point that she's looking for. So trying to hit that red stone just on the outside of the nose. Tough shot though. All set up by that lovely come around by Fomina.
Man, look at that, rolls it, avoiding the jam. They have things rolling right now.
That's world-class execution. Really, really good.
There's a reason she sits at 90% making shots like this, avoiding the jam.
And that is not an easy shot. Made contact exactly where Fujisawa was looking for it. And look at that smile. You can understand why. That's about as good as you can throw it. So this changes the equation a little bit for Team Russia. Still trying to use that center guard. But this one, I think, Luke, is a little bit short.
Yeah, frustrating. They make a nice come around, and then the perfect shot's made right back.
Be interesting to see if their second shot.
Looks like third shot to me, but as you see, 85% of the first 2 games for Fomina. It's just behind Yoshida. She's third.
And we see on our overhead, so it looks like the yellow one might have crept up into second shot positions. Really hard to say, but regardless, it looks like the Japanese are looking to take away that center line.
Do you come right in to the 4-foot now?
Well, you could. There's a bit of a risk there. If you're a little bit full, you give the Russians a chance to make a double. Really depends on the outcome that they're going for in this end. Now mentally you shift gears a little bit. You came into the end thinking we're going to play for a force. Now you're thinking, well, we could make it a little bit tougher and maybe get a steal out of this. And we can see Chinami Yoshida indeed patting the 4-foot, so they are going to try and tuck a corner around that. Well, now they're changing their minds. It's really important that every player is absolutely clear on what the preferred shot wants to be. This one's really curling. I think she's on the guard. Not a terrible result. Takes away access to her shot rock.
Yeah, not a lot of draw paths for Sidorova to get there.
I think Chinami Yoshida, just before Fujisawa climbed into the hack, I saw her go up into the front stone and pat that, so in her mind that was always an option. There we see that red Japanese stone. Japan's lying one. It's pretty close between those next 2 stones for whose second shot. Russian stone at the top of our picture. But now in front of those 2 stones, there's 2 red Japanese center guards defending the 4-foot. There we see them. So tough decision here for the Russians. There we see Russian coach Roger Schmidt watching intently.
Yeah, the coach's bench right in behind, very close to the action.
So big decision here for Sidorova. She was really, really aggressive. She could try the outturn come around her own stone into the 4-foot in front of that Japanese rock, but that's high risk.
Well, we have seen the curl in order to do that.
We know that they do finish. There's no doubt about that. Sidorova saying, what if I draw around and if I clip our own, what happens there? Again, it's a risk-reward calculation. If she's thinking I can get a skips 2 out of this, you might try to play an aggressive shot to try and still give yourself a shot at a 2. The risk, of course, if you do that and you don't execute, you give Japan a chance for a steal. Sidorova's asking Alexandra Raeva come down to consult with. This is a big choice for this team. So
does it make a difference if they think they're lying second shot or third shot with that top one? Do you maybe think about making a play on that other one?
Well, I think it does, Luke. And again, it comes down to how much risk are you prepared to take. If you think Japan is lying 2 right now, you might try running in the front one, try to double kill that and open it up. Each team, as we saw earlier on the graphic, has 38 minutes of thinking time. This is thinking time. It's when the shot's not in motion.
Просто вариант, ну как бы, да, есть вариант привести, но это очень
здесь
сложно.
садиться и непонятно, вот здесь вот. Здесь, соответственно, нельзя.
Просто я думаю, как сделать так, чтобы проще было потом взять один, если что.
But I think Anna Sidorova does sense that
Потому что если мы сейчас не
she'd
сделаем,
love to get the deuce, but she sure doesn't want to fall behind by 3.
Если я сейчас не привожу, то как я потом возьму один?
Что ты потом будешь делать, если у нас сейчас здесь остается камни? Да? Они еще привозят сами нам сюда. Что мы будем делать? Через свой карт играть? Мне кажется, надо...
не зависаем, у нас время.
Если я раскрою,
Маша,
хорошо,
никуда не денется,
давайте
мы
так,
можем
если я
его-
сейчас буду бить и, допустим, ошибаюсь.
Lots of opinions out there.
В уже, да, в эту сторону. Что она будет делать? Она поставит карту, у меня будет вариант привести. Если она привезет сама, значит, у меня будет вариант привести. Давай просто попробуем замочить. И все. Если что, да, нам нужно
Не забывай, что у нас камни.
чуть-чуть с этой стороны. Прям вот чуть-чуть с этой стороны.
Sidorova
Ключевое
appears to be
вращение
settling
будет.
on the
Если что,
double
я
raise.
ошибаюсь, лучше в эту сторону. И все.
This could also, you also open it up, maybe even bring it back and move some of the round.
I think this is the prudent play. As you say, you've got some options on this one. If you make it perfect, it's a bonus. But if it's not great execution, at least you give yourself a shot on your last one.
Well, I think you nailed it correctly, saying make sure you try and get your one, and this, miss it, you open things up at least.
So Anna Sidorova, after a long discussion, trying that double raise takeout. They're close. There's one.
And
Just past the
over
Japanese
the
stone.
top, and overlaps those guards. That could be crucial to her last stone now.
So Anna Sidorova, double raise attempt, gambling. Let's watch the replay. Just on the outside of that stone and sends it past the Japanese rock. She was trying to hit it squarely on the nose and it just over-curled. Now a great opportunity for the Japanese to blast another one into the 4-foot behind cover and make it for a very uncomfortable final stone for Anna Sidorova. Fujisawa and Yoshida just discussing exactly where they'd like it to come to rest.
Play the out turn, go top 4-foot enough that they can't come to that back one and get shot stone.
This is one of these shots where the line is actually more important than the weight. So if you've got great line, then you'll take it right into the 4-foot and bury it. If the line is a little less great, you'll leave it high and block the path to the shooter.
Satsuki Fujisawa. Broom went down. Her delivery now up to the sweepers and communicating the weight.
Suzuki's working this hard. I think she thinks it might be a little bit light. Now they're just playing it like a straight guard. Not a bad result.
That doesn't put as much pressure on Russia with a third one in there and in a tight spot, but going to a draw path.
There aren't many ways in here for Anna Sidorova. See all those guards in front of the house. She's got no shot on the out turn or the in turn to get to the shot rock.
Go real wide with the out turn to get to the 4-foot.
That looks to me like one option. She would, of course, be flirting with the Japanese guard if she did that. She's taking a long look at some kind of a jump shot off of the second stone, but that's behind a corner guard. So none of the options are great. Here we see the path of the stone. On that out turn, she'd have to curl around that left-hand red center guard, get a piece of the blue. It will curl enough, but if she throws down this path, Luke, she's going to have to take it a little bit wider. It'll take her out into an area of the ice where there hasn't been much play. She'll be into a bit of the frost. So she'll be guessing a little bit on the weight. Sidorova is electing to play at the second shot stone.
Больше. Еще.
So this to me is a concession saying we're not going to give up 2.
Типа там 6.
If she just squeaks by that long guard, there's an outside chance that she could curl across the face and get a hit and roll into the forefoot to get a 1.
Very difficult.
Very difficult, but makeable.
Just doesn't trust that out-turn draw path. Trying to play off of this one to get her single, facing 2.
Working it hard. The first job is to get by that corner guard.
Got to get past the front.
Just past it. Can they get the roll?
Now got to hold the line. Now
What
the
an
hit
amazing
and the
shot
roll.
by Anna Sidorova. Russia takes 1. Great team shot. Fantastic sweeping. It really saved that one.
Anna Sidorova did not make it easy on herself, but Raeva able to hold that one.
Look how close they come to the guard. Just squeak it. And now they actually want it to curl. They get the curl and it rolls perfectly into the forefoot. Perfect weight control and a great, great shot. Clutch, clutch, clutch from Anna Sidorova. So after 4 ends of play, it's Japan 2 and Russia 1.
Well, welcome back inside for the 5th in. Karuka Izek and Russia will get us going as they are on the board with a single. It didn't look like a shot very easily to get your 1, but Anna Sidorova and her team able to hold the line, get their single, and a 2-1 score is where we sit. Luke Oley joined with Hans Frauenlob as the long centerline guard. Do they go to a 2-center approach?
Looks like Fujisawa wants to come right around it and into the rings right away. But yeah, I'm still marveling at that fantastic last shot by Sidorova. Over the course of games, you wind up looking back at it and say, where did the game actually turn? Sidorova making a great saver from a situation where they were potentially down 3. Now they're down 1 and they're right back in the game. So quite literally a game saver.
Well, and you need your skips to make those throughout this week. A long week. 11 games will be played by each team. And a nice come around by Japan to start things off.
Четыре до!
Well, Zek's had some struggles in this one. That one into the house, but it is open.
Yeah, stone placement at the lead position has been a bit of a struggle for the Russians early on.
Sort of the reason they've been chasing a little bit in some of the ends. They haven't been able to get them in good position early.
That's right. So we've talked about this Japanese team playing the percentages. They've got the hammer again. So let's see how they rebound. They were probably thinking they had a steal all but locked up in the last end. But now they have last rock and they're up one.
And right on the nose, out in front. This Japanese team's been good. As we look in that fourth end, this is the shot you were talking about, Hans. That Anna Sidorova, we thought you come down to it, you give up the one.
I really thought she was just playing this shot to cut the Japanese down, but you saw how close she came to the garden. She could only play this weight to make this shot. Just this back of the house weight and a little inside roll. And applause there from Coach Roger Smith and a bit of relief. Yeah.
Nervous moments there from the coach. Not much he can do at that stage.
Well, as I was saying, he knew what was on the line there. If they drop a one, down three, you're in a world of hurt. Interesting call here from Sidorova. She's electing to freeze that stone. Comes up just a little short, but on the corner of it. So that'll be an annoyance for the Japanese. They'll have to deal with it somehow.
And looks peel the center line guard.
Could be. I'm just trying to figure that out for myself, Luke, but I think that is the call.
That's a dangerous stone for them. They have the hammer. They've been efficient with the hammer throughout this event so far.
And we did talk about them playing the percentages, not getting sucked in. So whenever they sense danger, they're quite quick to react.
Well, only once in 21 ends with the hammer have they been forced to a single points. Only once, so good numbers so far for them. Of course, 2 blank ends.
That's an impressive stat. Dabai. Hurry.
Try and close that gap, even though we'll see the guard go away again. It's that cat and mouse game here. Just the 5th end to play, but Russia knows they need to force the issue a bit. The guard stays in play. Could be a factor later on.
Yeah, rolls to the corner. I think that one fooled the Japanese a little bit. Thought it might roll a bit further out to the wing. But it does open up the center. Margarita Fomina. This one's finishing hard.
Keep bringing this tighter and tighter to the house. Maybe trying to bait Japan into it.
Well, that's very possible, Luke. The way that they're staggered right now. You'd be saying, well, I could run that yellow one straight back, double them off, and we could be lying 2 buried. But that's a high-risk shot. Japan playing the red stones. They do have the hammer here on end number 4, or end number 5, apologies. 10-end contest.
Well, there's not a lot of distance between, so the only risk is you could catch your own.
Well, there is some risk here. Your execution tolerance is pretty low. It's pretty much on the beak or nothing. You're a little bit across the face of it, then you're going to crash on that red one. If it overcurls, you run the risk of picking out your own. There we see a great shot. She's looking for contact on the stone almost exactly where she has the broom.
Well, Chinami Yoshida has, again, in the 90s so far in this game.
Close.
Right on the nose. Spill it out. Can't sweep
Japanese
it.
can't sweep it, but they're cheering it.
And of course, you can't sweep an opponent rock unless it's behind that tee line, that one that intersects the rings.
That's right. So another fine shot there from Yoshida. Would have liked to hit it just a fraction on the further on the outside to hit it a bit thinner, but a very good shot regardless.
And there's the
Go,
body
go, go.
language.
Waving of it.
Maybe the airflow will get it going a little more. Try and get to spin one more time. Margarita Fomina in Russia. It's been a first 5 ends dictated by the Japanese foursome. By the guard, trying to make the little hit flop. Rolls away to lie 2. Multiple guards for Japan to use.
Yeah, very inviting now. The spot where that Russian stone rolled means the Japanese can just play a nice little control weight, board weight stone. Go across the face, hit about half of it. And they've got lots of stones to roll behind. Wanting it to curl, but I think it's on the beak.
Well, at some point, someone's going to have to make a rule. Otherwise, they'll be running out of rings soon enough.
Stone is moving slowly further forward in the house. Anna Sidorova, after that amazing shot to save her one in the last end, comes down to throw this stone in the 5th. She'll be looking for the inside roll. There we see her target. She wants to curl just slightly across the face of that Japanese stone.
Well, this is the sweep to hold the line. Trying to hold the line so it doesn't roll too far. And there's the roll. Has 3 to hide behind. And goes to the wide side of the house.
Good result for Sidorova. So the force is on now, so this means the Japanese have really no choice but to try and draw around those stones themselves.
Skips deuce possibility with a good draw now.
Oh, definitely. The way that those stones are staggered and the way that the stones finish on draw weight. If Satsuki Fujisawa can throw on top of the 4-foot, the skips deuce is definitely on. Those guards are tight to the house, so there is a possibility that Sidorova could run them back, but she'd be running Japanese stone onto Japanese stone in that scenario.
Well, we'll get a look at the time as well. Trying to put this one in behind cover.
Need full 8-foot for shot. Well by the guard. They don't want it to slide behind the tee line, however. Comes to rest just on the tee line.
Maybe a foot deep. There's still a chance for Russia to play the freeze and get shot.
Yeah, a foot deep and just a hair wider than they would like. Because of that weight being a fraction heavy, they didn't really have a chance to sweep it to finish. So it is available for Anna Sidorova. She can't remove it, but she can certainly come down to it and sit on top. And if she gets a good angle, she can get shot.
Well, she just seen the path.
Yes, she did. Follow the leader.
Очень добавила, да.
Нет, немного. Ти, не очень много.
Дуй, Ти, вес надо!
Хороший вес. Вес надо, Ти.
Oh, we saw it, 14-2. This one, a little slower time. They're going to have to go to get it there.
They can't leave it short, but they do. Sweeping it into the 8-foot, but it's short.
That's a case where he just didn't have the line and had to wait on the line, and the weight wasn't there also.
That's exactly right, Luke. They had to wait for it.
Meaning an opportunity to convert that skips 2 and convert again with the hammer.
So it's not an automatic for the Japanese, but that stone, they just have to be full 8-foot. Thing they have to watch out for is the rock starting to make a move early, curling too much and coming on top of the Russian stone. So she needs to give herself enough width to navigate her way into the 8-foot and try to get her 2.
Well, she set it up with her first. Now playing the in-turn draw again. Full 8-foot, get that second point.
Have they got enough weight?
Well, the second sweeper joining in.
Never in doubt. Full 4-foot, piece of the button, and Japan scores 2.
Perfect T-line weight, just right in her back pocket, and her sweepers know she can use them. They drag it there, and Fujisawa and Japan convert again, so 4-1 at the break.
Play from the second end. Highlights of this game. Japanese skip Satsuki Fujisawa with a down weight hit and stick, makes it, and a big 2-point end early in the game after blanking the first. End number 4. Anna Sidorova with an incredibly difficult shot. Squeaks it by the guard. Great sweeping, and then on the inside to jump off the Japanese stone into the 4-foot to save 1. A real game saver, and a round of applause from Coach Roger Smith and a sigh of relief. And in the 5th end, after Anna Sidorova comes up short on an attempted freeze, Satsuki Fujisawa with a delicate draw to try and score 2. Yoshida and Suzuki sweeping it calmly into the button, and Japan goes to the break, up 4-1. Looking at our other games, Sweden versus Germany.
You see that one in the back part. It was Maria Pritz on her first, able to go to the back of the 12-foot after Daniela Drendel ended up nosing, staying out of the rings. Take the chance, and here's a chance at a skips deuce. Maria Pritz, 4 stones, draw into the house and get a 2 and a lead in this one. Sigfridsson out to help. just need any part of the rings. And they'll use all of it as it goes into the 8-foot. So 2 for Sweden in that 5th end of play.
Both of those teams coming into this game 1-0.
And they lead 4-3 in the 6th. Finland controlling against Italy up 7-3 after 5. And Scotland has a 5-3 lead and hammer as they are after 5 ends as well. They're in their 5th end break, like we are in our feature matchup on sheet C.
Well, Luke, you talked about hammer efficiency. The Japanese have been clinical with the hammer, coming away with deuces twice in the first half of this game. Here we see the Japanese team enjoying a snack. We've talked about this Japanese team being new and inexperienced at this level, and are they for real? But they're answering every question that's being asked of them so far.
Got to keep an eye on the time, and we only have 1 timeout, right? The time as we go along, because we're going to have some tough situations. We only have 1 timeout. Yeah, so we got to manage it. We got to be in the hack and going, and yeah. Stone placement, degree of difficulty.
Looking at the percentages after 5 ends of play, Japan's leading in the most important statistic, which is the scoreboard. They're up 4-1. No steals in this game. Japan up about 10 percentage points in hitting accuracy and about 6 points ahead in overall shooting percentage. That's been the story of the week so far for them. Very, very high percentage shooting right across the board for this Japanese team.
Well, and the key, you heard the Russian coach, Roger Schmidt, say stone placement, rock placement. Have to get better rock placement early on in the ends. They've been chasing early in them. That 5th end was probably one of, they got things a little bit better in the middle stages of the end. But a roll a little too far opened up the stones to draw behind and make one real nice shot, and then can't respond, and Anna Sidorova is last, and a deuce.
Well, that's right, and the other thing that Coach Schmidt said to the Russian team is watch your time clock. As we said, they've got 38 minutes of thinking time. They go to the turn, so to speak, in golfing terms, with 17:32 left on their clock. So,
and it's 2 minutes less.
Time is a bit of a factor for them, so Coach Schmidt said just be ready to play. You've only got 1 timeout.
They have spent some couple of shots, spent more time deciding. We see numbers here, 84% overall, and on the game, 93% for the Japanese lead.
Japan again playing the percentages, up 3. They want nothing to do with the center guard, so they throw it into the rings.
No real choice other than the corner now for Russia?
Well, you don't want to panic, but you do need to score, and you do need to score 2. So the corner guard is the shot. Kiruka Izek.
See the lower numbers, and she won't be happy with that. She's coming in high 70s and even lower in this game. You want to see her lead in the mid to high 80s, ideally.
That's right, Luke. This one's sliding toward the rings. They wanted to stop short, but this might be a little bit heavy again.
And just into the rings. So Hans, talk the 5th end break. You have the time where you discuss they run the mop over the ice. Does the speed change coming out of it?
It definitely does, and a lot of teams don't pick that up. It's not a massive change, but the first couple of stones at the end do tend to glide a little bit further because of that.
Well, they'll stay in the rings, hoping to roll to the center ideally.
So it's biting the 12-foot, but Anna Sidorova is saying, okay, let's stack some corner guards. Put one of my own out in front of that Japanese stone.
Мало
Я не
добавила.
добавляла.
25!
25 хорошо. Не так, что сам.
25!
Саша.
Можно вес?
Саша.
Well, Karuka is big shoes to fill with Katerina Galkina retiring from curling and not a part. She was always right at the top.
Молодец.
One of, if not the best leads in the world.
Well, that's right. And players do come and go from curling teams, and you do need to be able to step up and build a new combination.
85% for Suzuki. Well, it stays in play as it spins at the end, and that's the chuckle from the Japanese side.
But it does take a while to build as a unit, as a curling team. They're not interchangeable parts. They're not robots. They're people with personalities, and everybody needs to learn how to fit in with each other.
Смотрите,
Внимательно, внимательно, девочки.
Нет, нет, девчонки, нет.
So now Sidorova's taking the play to the other side of the sheet.
Спасибо.
Smart curling, that stone that didn't quite go out of play. Now if the Japanese try to peel it, becomes a bit of a factor for a jam.
そうだね。
ちょっとローテあるよ。いいよ、ラインよ、ラインよ、ラインよ。ラインよ、ラインよ、ラインよ。
Well, catch the side one, and they'll get away with that. So we get rid of it altogether,
Just kill everything, nothing to it.
making the game look very simple. And folks watching wherever you are, this game is not this easy, the way they're making it look.
You know, really high quality execution from both teams.
Сейчас пониже надо.
24 вес
Надо пониже.
Внимательно.
5. Хороший вес. 6 возьмем.
Воу-воу-воу-воу. Рита.
Sidorova doing everything she can to try and generate a possibility for a deuce. Throws up another corner guard.
Не больше был.
See how long they wait and maybe have to use that stone top 12-foot.
It is a game of cat and mouse. At some point, the Japanese may decide to spring the trap and just guard their own shot rock. So it's like a game of chess on ice. Always thinking 2 or 3 shots ahead.
See 83% for Chinami Yoshida.
She wouldn't mind doubling off her own. Pushes it forward in the rings. That's a really good result for Japan.
Yeah, that's a bonus on top of making the peel. You push it in now, come around it, you're even deeper.
3 фута до. 3 фута до.
So Chinami Yoshida having a blinder. Look at this, comes across the top of her own and pushes it forward, so it's no longer a corner guard for the Russians. Now it's second shot deep in the 8-foot, and the Russians have to deal with it.
Well, and Russia looks at it the other way. Well, there's a little bit of a pocket, try and freeze one on the right angle and make it tough to eliminate.
Пока много линий.
Пока затихо, нет дома.
Good numbers for Margarita Fomina, championship and on the game.
4 за. 6 за.
Давай, 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 давай.
8 за, 8 за.
Just a little touch. Almost see maybe a change of plan on that one to go around it late.
I think so. That one looked a little bit in between. It was too much weight for a freeze for sure, so maybe she was trying to come around, but the net result is it's wide open for Japan. Japan would be very happy to give Russia one in this end. They'd be even happier to steal it.
Clearing yellow stones.
And a good play there to roll their own shooter out of the house.
Well, Sweden, Germany, a lot of rocks in play there.
Wow.
4-3, Sweden leading, and it looks like Germany lying one. Daniela Drendel trying to get another one in. Doesn't have a lot of room to get this Yellowstone in.
It's mighty snug.
You see the sweep to try and get it there.
Well, look at this.
Through the port. Now, use the red, slow it down, or right to your own.
How good is that? Great shot from Drendel.
Take the lead back from the Olympic silver medalists from Sochi and Margareta Sigfridsson. So 5-4, Germany leads. Deuces are wild in that one, back and forth.
What a great shot.
Well, it was the freeze attempt again by Fomina, but heavy, and it went right through.
So the Russians, nothing really working for them. They're trying to generate some offense here in this end, but everything they try, the Japanese are countering, and a bit of a self-inflicted penalty there for the Russians. So free shot here for Fujisawa to try and steal the end by guarding her shot rock.
Well, 88%. It's a bit lower than what she played yesterday and her 100% game.
It's a sad day as a skip when you're throwing 88 and you're having an awful game compared to yesterday.
When you lower your tournament percentage with an 88.
This one might be over curling slightly, but it sits on the center line. Would have preferred that to be covering the shot rock a little bit more, but still a difficult shot for Sidorova. See the angles here. Sidorova can hit and roll now behind that shot.
Yeah, not far off, but just that little bit makes a big difference.
Sure does. Japan, however, is still lying 3. But we saw the amazing bailout shot that Anna Sidorova threw in the 4th end. Similar kind of shot here, trying to jump off a stone and roll towards the button.
Well, make the double, and will sit right in behind, get enough to punch that one out.
Yes, she does.
And it does, so very nice. That's the problem with the overcurl. Now, Russia lies 1 buried.
And we see the contact point. Perfect double. Sits it right on the bottom.
Covers that Ford logo.
So we saw the Japanese make a slightly brave play to try and guard for the steal, and it does come back to bite them. It's a short run back here, but about 4 feet. Wants to hit this one right on the nose. But a glimmer of hope here for the Russians to get back in this game.
Have to treat this as a nose hit on that top one.
They're close.
Straight back.
Perfect.
Not
Great
just
shot.
makes it, but leaves it right in behind.
Great read there from the Japanese. Big smiles from Fujisawa and her teammates.
All that's left, no choice but to play the double now, where that one sits.
Well, let's look at this contact first, Luke. Perfect contact point and leaves it biting the button. Front button perfectly buried behind her own stone. Great, great shot. So the only options for Sidorova, you can try and draw to the pin around that one to try and save one, an incredibly difficult shot. Or the only other option is the double. Either way, it's mission accomplished for Team Japan. The best Russia's going to be able to do here is score 1. Don't think the way these rocks are angled, she can make the double and roll out.
No, tough to do so. Anna Sidorova, try and make sure she makes the double. Make the double,
And
but
she
will
jams.
stuff it and give up the steal of 1. And And Russia cannot get their single point. Instead, goes the other way. And Japan increases their lead with a steal of 5-1. Japan leading Russia in the Ford World Women's Curling Championship. 'Well, the single point by Russia came in the fourth. A steal of 1 by Japan in 6. And a 5-1 Japan lead. Lukoli hands Frauenlob the fourth draw of this 2016 Ford World Women's Curling Championship. Thanks for tuning in as Japan takes on Russia. And Japan has been, I don't know what the word is, not quite perfect, but just they've been very sound, just controlling this game from the onset.
That's right, Luke. They've been very, very tidy. Never letting themselves get into big trouble, but taking the chances when they've had them. And that steal of 1 is absolutely huge. That's really a control point for them. And the end setup is great for them now, so if they can force Russia here, that would give them hammering the even ends up 3 or 4, depending what happens. So it's a great, great situation for the Japanese. Conversely, the Russians now have to gamble all out.
I think you probably see 2 corner guards from them, try and get the guards out in front.
You know, the Russians will try to have as many stones in play as they possibly can. You'll see freezes, you'll see guards. They have to really gamble now.
Well, Russia and their team talked about being quick with time in the 5th end break. Japanese side, they haven't really swayed one way or the other. Fujisawa knows what she's going to play, puts the broom down, and then they go. They've been very decisive in what they're playing and then gone out to execute it.
Well, that's right. They've been very impressive. It's they understand each other well as a unit. This one wants to slow down a little bit. They'd like it to be at the tee line if they can, but it's just sliding a bit past it. Not a bad stone.
Well, just back button.
They don't mind. They wouldn't mind if the Russians decided to come down and freeze that. They would just weld it and lock it up and happily concede 1 for Russia.
And we've seen those corner guards quite long on the Russian side. It worked out in their favor when they did get their 1 point. But it makes it tough. We're seeing lots of movement on the ice here again.
Especially with the down weight that most of the teams play.
Well, trying to hit and roll and just goes too far to be behind that guard.
So a slightly different tactic here from Fujisawa, up 4. She's electing to play the stone in the rings instead of ripping the corner guard.
Well, hoping to roll it to the center of the rings. Remains lying 2.
Anna Sidorova won't mind that. Every rock in play right now, whether it's a Japanese stone or one of her own, is something that she could potentially use. Raven now trying to use that corner guard, but this one looks a bit warm. It's going quite deep in the house. Will it stick around?
And right through, unable to even stay in play. Now the corner guard will come off. As we look over, Sweden and Germany, they've been going. And in the background, the 2s back and forth. Guess what? Another chance at a 2 for Sweden, and Maria Pritz, 4th stone thrower, has the hit and stick to score 2. Big scrub has all the rings to roll to. So there's 2 and a 6-5 lead after 7 ends.
Lots of entertaining games out here in beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Swift Current at the 2016 Ford World Women's Curling Championships. Japan does eliminate that corner guard, so Sidorova is forced to put one back. Quite tight to the rings, but usable.
Getting in a spot where the peel's a little more difficult.
Feels very difficult. Now there's jams either way, so that's actually a very good spot. Fujisa was saying, okay, I can run it this way, squeak it by ours. I probably roll onto the rings if I do. Unprecedented international television and media interest in this World Women's. This game is being carried back to Japan.
The rock stars back home in Japan, as they become with the following. Of course, the Worlds being in Japan last year. We'll peel it through the hole.
That's amazing execution.
Knew
Really
where they
good.
needed to hit it, and just they have been fun to watch curl because they have everything in control for a team skip in her 2nd World Championship.
With a bunch of rookies playing with her, it's just amazing.
Was able to win the first Pacific Asian Championship in 10 years for Japanese women, which is memorable for them. Would love to improve upon her 7th place finish she had at her last World Championship appearance in 2013. Of course, Anna Sidorova and her team have championship aspirations. They want to, not that Japan doesn't, but Anna Sidorova in Russia has been in the playoffs the last 2 years.
And sometimes those self-expectations can be the most dangerous thing when you've come close and you know that you want to go a little bit higher. You put a little bit extra pressure on yourself, whereas this Japanese team, they want to do well too, but they view this as a learning experience along the way to their ultimate goal, which is to try and represent Japan at the 2018 Winter Olympics. So tough shot here for Yoshida. Trying to pick this one out.
And kills their back one.
Really
so
good
no
stone.
freeze possible on that at all. Well, JD Lin's been working with this team. Seen the growth, and Mari Motohashi, their alternate.
Mari's got a lot of international experience. She's a really positive influence for her teammates. Plays the role of alternate perfectly. She's a real supportive teammate.
And able to step in if needed.
Absolutely. She can still play with the best. So now the only rock that the Russians can use is that Japanese stone on the edge of the 12-foot. They're trying to tuck one around it.
And it's interesting to see the difference in playing this at this stage of the game. Early, you might see them just hit and say, okay, let's go and blank. But the 4-point deficit with 4 ends remaining, we have to try and make something.
Russia really does have to pull out all the stops here. So if there was a chewing gum wrapper on the ice, they tried to draw around it at this point in the game.
後半ぐらい2個使う？あ、いや、1個でいい。あ、2個だ。2個だわ。だから。
Russia with the hammer here on the 7th, but they're trailing by 4. Don't think Fujisawa was particularly happy with her slide, but good release.
Would like to stick around on this one.
Doesn't really hurt her if she does. Rolls right to the center out of danger.
So flips over, lies 2. Probably see the freeze by Sidorova.
By rolling over, what she does accomplish there, we see a little bit wayward coming out of the hack, but holds it together well, releases it clean, which is the most important part of the delivery.
And then executes the shot.
So by rolling to the back 4-foot, what that does do, Luke, means that Sidorova can't use that corner guard.
I think you heard the chuckles after the shot. I think that might have been about
I almost fell over.
But able to save it. And Anna Sidorova on her side need to make this freeze.
But Luke, even if she does, it's deep in the 4-foot, and Japan will be able to just come to the nose of it themselves.
Very nice, right on the face of it.
That's as well as she could do. We can see that the Japanese girls are saying, well, there's a little bit of an angle there, so in a little bit of a gap, that might be enough. We might be able to blast it. The other shot choice for the Japanese, of course, would be just a nose hit, and that would effectively give them a freeze of their own. Japan would be delighted to give Russia 1. They don't really want to give them 2. There you see there's just a little gap between those stones. So it's not perfectly frozen. It's not much of a gap either. We can see from the broom placement, I do think that they may be playing the nose hit now, Luke.
Probably if they're playing the other, go on the other side of the rock because there's just a hair of a stagger the other way.
Yeah. So I think for a minute there they thought they might just be able to hit a quarter of it on the intern side and spring it out, but I think this is a better play. Critical, though, that they hit this stone contact point just a fraction on the outside on the nose.
Yeah, and just a control weight, nothing too big. Has to be precise, needs to get it on the nose.
Perfect, great shot.
And that will do the job.
And you can see from where that Japanese stone has come to rest, even if Anna Sidorova draws down on top of it, it's questionable whether she's going to get shot. There you see.
Even less.
Even less of a gap. So difficult choice here for Sidorova. No chance now for a 2. Now she's trying to figure out how do we get 1. If you hammer it, which looks like is what she's going to try to do, if you hit on the inside of the stone, you run the risk of rolling your own off the rings. That red stone is definitely going to jam. It's going to squirt to the right. So Sidorova is going to have to gamble here, I think, and throw it really hard. Just hit it just off nose. Try to squirt the red one to the right. Leave her own sitting somewhere in the forefoot, but no margin for error here.
Oh, Anna Sidorova, final shot. Get it on the nose, they roll off it, and I think it's going to be a steal.
It is a steal of 1 to Japan, and a huge, huge end for the Japanese, taking firm control of this game. Back-to-back steals from Team Japan. Big trouble for Anna Sidorova and her Russian teammates. And as we head to the business end of this contest, Japan is firmly in control, 6 to 1 after 7 ends of play.
Welcome back inside the Credit Union iPlex, the 2016 Ford World Women's Curling Championship. As you'll see this first stone be thrown through for Team Japan, Yurika Yoshida. And Japan has been impressive this afternoon. Luke Coley, Hans Frauenlob. Impressive, and continue to praise this Japanese team with how well they've been playing.
Well, coming into this game, both teams were unbeaten. There we see at the lead position a huge advantage for Yoshida, the Japanese lead. But that's been pretty much the case up and down the lineup. This Russian team of Anna Sidorova, European champions, we thought was going to be a very stern test for this young Japanese team, but they've answered every single question that's been asked of them. Executing really well. They're up 5, and now they're in a position where they're just going to try and peel the Russians out.
I think, as you saw the numbers earlier between the leads, that makes a big difference. When you got a 20% gap between your lead stones, and it's tough to pick on one in a team sport, but Karuka Zek just hasn't got those rocks in a good position for her team to use.
Well, that's exactly right. With the free guard zone rule now in play, stone placement of the leads is really dictates the whole end. And if you're getting good stone placement from your lead, you can generate offense, you can generate defense and steals. If you're not getting great stone placement, then you're often chasing. And against this Japanese team playing the way that they are, they look like they're going to be very tough to catch if they get a lead. And they've got a big lead in this one. They're up 5. So, nice execution by Isek. 2 corner guards there, but now it's blast away time for Yumi Suzuki.
And it's which one do we want to hit first? Well, talking with JD Lin, Japanese coach, knew the first couple games was good, get a feel for the ice, and that this would be a good test, see how the girls responded against a team that has had success at the world level in Anna Sidorova in Russia. And coming out and putting the pressure on each and every end.
Well, that's right, Luke. If this is a test so far, you'd have to give them an A+. Early in the week, of course. It's an 11-game round robin. It's a long week, but the early returns are promising for Team Japan.
Well, Japan knows they got a couple more tough games tomorrow. This is the only game for both these teams today. Japan will play Denmark tomorrow morning, and then always a big battle, one of the two Pacific Asian nations that are at the Worlds. They'll take on Korea in the afternoon game. So clearly not looking ahead to that. They're staying at the task at hand.
But you're right, there's always something a little extra in those games between regional competitors.
You know that coming from the New Zealand
I do.
being at the Worlds, and
played a few of them myself, and it was always a little extra on the line when you're playing Japan or you're playing Australia.
and there's the peel will go just underneath that other one.
Almost a ridiculous double peel there,
Yeah.
but a very nice clear.
And on the other hand, you look at Team Russia. We look at the second numbers. Good numbers for Eva, but Suzuki, 89.
Solid, solid, solid. Up and down the lineup, and that's the thing about this Japanese team. We've talked about how they really play as a unit, and top to bottom in the lineup, consistency. No apparent weaknesses yet. They haven't been put under huge pressure, but that's what you can do when you get a lead in the game and get control. You give yourself easier shots, higher percentage shots, and if you execute those high percentage shots consistently, you can grab a hold of a game and run them out, and that's exactly what the Japanese have done now for the third occasion in this tournament.
Yeah. That'll be. They know they're going to have some tough games and some tight games. Question is, how are they going to handle those situations? We've seen Russia in those before at other events, and Russia knows after this one, they have a tough day tomorrow, as they have Canada and Sweden.
So just as the Japanese won't be looking ahead, the Russians won't be thinking about tomorrow right now. They're focused on the now, but you're right. And that will be a very challenging day for Sidorova and her teammates tomorrow.
Look at the third comparison, Yoshida. Lower numbers at draws, but overall, 88 to 77%. And they keep a plus, where you're 5% or more of your opponent. So far, that's a plus for both, for every position so far.
Well, that's right, and Yoshida hasn't had to throw very many draws in this game. She's been throwing a lot of double clears and peels. Nice come around here for Team Russia, though. Very well played. Fomina's made a few nice come arounds.
Yeah, good team shot using the sweepers.
At this point in the game, up 5, Japan would like to hold them to 1, but they don't mind conceding 2. They don't want to concede 3, so they're going to rip the corner guard.
And they watch that one disappear.
So the Japanese say, well played to Margarita Fomina. Nice come around. We'll give you your 2, but you're sure not going to get 3. Trying now to guard that stone. Might be sliding a little further than they'd like, however.
Well, this one will come right in. I'm sure we're going to see Japan take a run at both of them now.
Just deciding which side of the stone they want to hit. Do they want to cross the face or go across the top? I think Fujisawa was looking to go across the top because she realizes that if she noses it, then she gives Anna Sidorova something to draw around. But the straight run back is a little bit easier probably in terms of playing the angles. But you don't want to get cute here. Again, the mission in this end for Team Japan is Nothing more than 2. But a great opportunity here for Japan to kill both of these Russian stones.
Well, Fujisawa looking at the double now. Well, over the top, catch enough, punch that one through.
Can they sweep it out of the rings? I think it's going to hang on.
A little overswept.
Slightly misjudged in the sweeping at the end. So a bit of a rueful smile from Fujisawa as she comes down the ice. There we see a huge advantage at the skip position and shooting percentages here. 91% for Satsuki Fujisawa. Almost made the double takeout there, but just thinned that second stone. So a chance here for Russia to split the house, set up their 2 points that they so desperately need.
Well, Russia's been working all game to try and get this. Here they have the opportunity.
Sweepers are really working this one, Luke. I think they're a bit worried about the weight.
Well, and Fomina out to help as well. All 3 of them trying to get this to the rings.
Has she come up short? Yes,
She has pulled the string.
Wow.
And that's the type of game it's been for Anna Sidorova. And the body language just tells the story of this game.
Yep, the wheels have definitely fallen off the Russian machine here. It was going to be a incredibly large mountain for them to climb, even if they scored the deuce in this end, but now open hit for Japan and pretty close to lights out for Russia.
Mel gets a second chance after missing the double on her first and sticks around. See what Russia down 5 decides.
Well, there's no good choices here for the Russians. Do you take your 1, then you're down 4? Means you steal 2 to try and get to an extra end. If you blank, you're running out of ends. 2 to play with the hammer. They're looking at the scoreboard, trying to decide exactly what to do, but there are no good choices here.
Take 1 and try and steal 4.
Well, I think that's arguably easier to do than trying to score 3, steal 1. But either of them are pretty improbable.
Well, you take your 1, you make it 6-2, you make it a 4-point game, and then you can get your 2 center line guards up and go at it that way.
That's about the only choice that you have. And you're going to have to do that twice. You're going to have to successfully steal 2, and then you're going to have to do it again in the 10th.
Well, we'll see what Anna Sidorova decides with that weight. I think playing the blank.
Yeah, that's definitely not stick-around weight.
And there it goes. So they will decide to blank, try and set up for multiple point score in the 9th. 6-1. Japan leading Russia. In a battle of 2-0 teams. Japan, though, full control still with 2 ends remaining. Well, Satsuki Fujisawa taking on Anna Sidorova in Russia, both coming in 2-0. Two different sets of body language, especially that last end. Chance to come in and get your two, and coming up well short. Luke Coley joined with Hans Frauenlob. It's draw 4. The stone gets thrown through. 6-1 is the difference. A long way to go for Russia. Keep trying to pick away.
Well, they'll all-out gamble now. Really nothing to lose for the Russian team. To have any chance to win this game, they're really going to have to score 3 here.
And that'll take 2 corner guards and some misses from Japan, which have been few and far between in the first couple of days of this competition. Both these teams, just the one game today, will have the evening off and play morning and afternoon on Monday.
So Yoshida again being asked to just throw it through. Japanese want no rocks in play at all. But you can see that they're using every rock. She asks her to throw down the path where she'd have to throw a tick shot if there was a chance that they had to defend against the steal.
Well, look next door on sheet B. Finland and Italy, both teams looking for their first win. Finland up 7-3. Una Kausta has the final shot here, but a lot of stones in play for a 4-point game. Trying to draw down even a little quiet hit. And will make the hit and rolls the other way, actually over curls it. And it is a steal of 1, so 7-4. Finland leads, still in control with the hammer as they play the 8th end.
That'll help the spirits of that Italian team. However, they were falling behind 6-1 in that game, and even though they're still down 3, they're still scrapping and trying to fight their way back into it. But speaking of scrapping, Japanese are busily scrapping Russian guards.
Haven't thrown much other than the peels in the last couple ends.
And as you said, Luke, their execution's been really good.
They're 90% as a team right now in this game, compared to 78% of Team Russia.
Well, if you've got a team shooting percentage in the 90s, you might lose games, but you're not going to lose very many. Corner guard again from Russia, doing everything they can to generate some offense.
Well, 4th stone comes to rest, so now, well, we're well into that as they're peeling away. Keep up to date with all the scores, 7-6. It is the lead for Germany on sheet A. You saw the update on sheet B, and then Scotland continues to lead Korea on sheet D in the 8th end.
Another clear from the Japanese. So we said that Russia really needed to score 3 in this end to have any chance in this game. Sooner or later you have to come into the rings. Not yet, but soon.
Чуть-чуть побольше добавила, чем тот. Надо параллельно, кажется, да. Кажется, все равно надо вес. Кажется, да.
They want to try and get these 2 guards as even as possible. They've seen Japan throw the hits. They'll just continue to go after the 1. Don't think they'll risk going after a double peel.
There is no need to take any risks on that front. Shinami Yoshida lining up. Like clockwork, Luke.
Have not seen many complete misses or even half misses. They just put the broom down, go up and peel that guard. A slight miscue on the double last end, but then it was followed up by a miss by Russia.
That's right. It's going to be interesting to see how this Japanese team responds if they get behind in a game. But so far, they're showing us that they're going to be pretty tough to beat when they've got a lead.
Trying to go around the corner.
Oh, well swept.
Yeah, good scrub, but not a lot of separation between those two stones.
Well, once again, Femina makes the nice come around. As you say, Luke, though, they're pretty tight together, so now the double clear probably is on. Fujisawa taking a look at the angles, trying to get clear in her mind where she needs the contact point to be. Chance for Yoshida to put the final nail in the coffin here for Japan.
Well, there it is. Rolls the stone off a little bit. There's a bit of a guard, but not a whole lot. More importantly, both those yellows go away again.
Another big smile from Yoshida. We've seen a lot of that this week. Great double clear. Let's look at this on the replay. Hits it on the outside, spills it across the top of the back stone. Both of the Russian stones go rocketing out of the rings, and the red Japanese stone rolls fairly harmlessly off to the left side. Russia will try to use it, but they're running out of places to hide, and they're running out of rocks to score with.
Have to basically have this one just hang on to the rings and be close to the boards as well. A spot you don't normally throw a rock to.
Well, desperate times call for desperate measures, and Russia's definitely in the desperation zone right now. So even though Femina does a nice job of getting it out to the 12-foot, we can see it's still wide open for Fujisawa. Even though they have a commanding lead, the Japanese team are just taking it shot by shot, staying in the moment.
Well, not taking anything for granted. Continuing to go through the process.
A little woo from Fujisawa out of the hack, but she stabilizes well.
And we'll peel that one right out of there. Nothing in the rings. This ninth end. Russia taking on Japan.
So Anna Sidorova, 2 to come. She knows even if she scores 2 here, she's going to be down 3 without coming home. So looks quite desperate, but like the champion that she is, she's going to keep fighting until she's out of ammunition to fight with.
Well, has had an 8-3 record her last 2 World Championships en route to bronze medals. Knows it's tough to go unscathed through the round robin.
Well, once again, she's come up short.
Well, the problem is you're going to such a small spot. Weight wasn't that far off. If you look in the center, it would have been in the rings, but because you're going to the side, well, it's short.
Well, and of course, as the stone's approaching the house, you're actually curling away from the rings. So, as you say, really, really difficult tolerance. Really kind of a freebie for the Japanese.
It's been a while since I've thrown a draw. So where do you want to go with this, Hans? Just top 4 foot center of the house?
Ideally, but really anywhere in the paint is good.
Well, deeper in the rings, but still not to be concerned at this stage. It's in the house.
So I wonder, even if they make this stone, if Anna Sidorova and her Russian teammates might just say, no, that might be enough for this afternoon.
We will find out as Anna Sidorova looks to hit, stick, get her one. Oh, there will hit and roll out. And that will be
And
blank
indeed,
and handshakes.
it is.
So Japan will stay unbeaten as they knock off Russia, hand them their first loss. It is a 6-1 final victory for Japan.
So Team Japan continues to roll here in this 2016 Ford World Women's Curling Championships, handily defeating Russia in the end. Bows of appreciation to the Japanese supporters from Japanese skip Satsuchi Fujisawa. They go to 3-0. A really impressive start for this Japanese team and a delighted group of Japanese fans. A young Japanese team. We knew they had talent, but so far they're rolling through this field. They've got a lot of tough teams yet to face, so they're a long way away from thinking about playoffs, but there you see the final score, 6-1, and a really dominant performance from this really high performance Japanese team. Action continuing across the sheets here at the Credit Union Iplex here in Swift Current. Nice turnout as well. Curling well supported here in Saskatchewan, part of the curling heartland in Canada. They love their curling. They know their curling. And even though they're supporting their home team of Canada, even when the Canadians aren't playing, as is the case in this draw this afternoon, they turn out in numbers and they appreciate good curling from around the world. Anna Sidorova and the Russian team falls to 2-1. They'll regroup, catching up some scores on the other sheets on sheet A. It's Germany versus Sweden. Tight game there, and so we may pick up the action in that game shortly. Luke Coley said earlier how the twos are wild in this game, and look at that scoreboard. Trading twos back and forth, it's like a tennis match. And here we are now.
Ja, jag tänker att den kanske med hård rullar ut den där.
Ja, fast den kommer inte få... Här kommer den ju tappa halva farten. För den ligger lite mer än halvstomlott. Så att då har du inte så mycket fart kvar sen och får en... Ja, det är en tredjedel för att ta båda.
So Daniela Drendel's German team is really giving this very strong Swedish women's team everything they can possibly handle.
Ja, då ska vi bara vicka uppe på den där. Men det tycker jag är bra.
Nej, men den är väl...
Lite utsida eller chatt. Ja. Nej.
So we see there Germany is playing the Yellowstones.
Ja. Ja.
Med vilken fart?
Sweden has the hammer. They've got one of their own sitting in front of those two German stones,
90-80.
trying to decide how they want to play this one.
Nej, du vill ju inte flytta den här.
2 stones to come for Sweden.
90. Ja.
Looks like those top stone is angled to jam on that back rock, so they need to be a bit careful about that as well.
Ja. 90.
So here's fourth player, Maria Pritz. She's going to make some kind of a play on her own stone.
Är det umset utsida bara?
Playing her intern.
Wennerström lite! Nina! Nej, Wennerström!
Makes the hit. She does jam on the back, but it springs. So now Germany lies 1, but Sweden has got their stones up in the front of the 8-foot in pretty interesting positions.
Da kreuzt er nicht viel. Nase da auch noch gut. Ja.
One stone to come here for Germany. Daniela Drendel. She's going to look to hit that stone and just get a tiny little roll behind that center guard. Even if she rolls a bit past the center guard and partly covers her own stone, that wouldn't be a bad result either. Both of these teams have only played one game, so they're both 1-0. We see Drendel 78% in this game.
Ja, ja, ja.
Big shot here.
Hej Cissi! Ja! Hej Cissi! Ja! Hej Cissi! Ja!
They need to get by this guard. Are they by? They're by. Where's the roll going to go? Pops out the other side a bit too far. Great attempted hit and roll there, but we'll see from our long shot, there may be a double takeout for 2 here. It may not have rolled far enough to make that shot possible for Pritz. So, big decision here for Sweden. Let's look at the replay. Great sweeping to get it by the guard. They wanted a little roll, got a big roll. Sit in front of their own stone. Very good sweeping from the German team. So Germany lies 2.
Är det samma fart eller?
Vad var den då? Vad var den?
Vad var förra?
Det är okej.
Skulle kanske vilja ha 90. Ja.
So they're just deciding what kind of weight they want to play on this shot. It does look like they're going to try the double through the port. Got 2 stones to navigate, that yellow stone at the top of our picture. And they also have to deal with that red stone.
Se inte riktigt hela.
Nej.
Margareta Sigfridsson holding the broom. Big, big shot here. We talked about trading 2s. Here's a chance for another 2 for Sweden. But it's also a chance for a steal of 2 for Germany.
Nina hela vägen.
Will it curl? No, she wrecks on the guard, and it's a huge steal of 2 for Germany. Well, well, well. So the former world champions from Sweden are in some big trouble here late in the game, and fist bumps all around for Team Germany. Huge steal of 2 in the 9th end. Maria Pritz wrecks on that guard, trying that delicate thread through double. And now Germany takes a 3-point lead into the 10th end. How about that? So welcome back to bonus coverage here on the fourth draw here at the 2016 World Women's Curling Championships, and there's an upset brewing here on sheet A. Germany with a huge steal of 2 in the ninth, leading former world champion Sweden 9-6 playing the 10th end. Germany throws the first one through. And Sweden's got a little bit of a clock problem as well. They've got 8 stones to play and about 2 minutes left on their time clock, so they won't have an awful lot of time to discuss strategy. Attempted guard here by Margaretha Sigfridsson, but is this going to slide into the rings? Wow, huge mistake there. Big opportunity for Germany. Instead of having to play a delicate tick shot.
Ja, ein bisschen schneller als Bumper, aber normal. Ich will mit rausrollen, Pia.
Well, I know a little bit of German, and so Pia-Lisa Schell says she's going to throw a little bit more than bumper weight. Nose hit there. She would have preferred to roll out. But boy, oh boy, what a turnaround in that ninth end. Now Sigurdsson must make a guard. Remember, Sweden needs 3 just to force an extra end. There we see on the scoreboard, 10th end of play. Germany leading at 9-6. So a big test here for this German team. Relatively new at the international level, but a big opportunity here to claim a huge scalp. Trying to clear this stone. They'd like to roll away if they can. Makes the clear, rolls off to the wings. Nice shot there by Germany.
Lite tight linje. Bara stanna. Just över.
So Luke, the pattern of 2s continued into the ninth end, but for once it was a 2 the other way. A huge steal of 2 for Germany, to giving them the opportunity to pull off what you'd have to consider to be the early upset of the tournament if they can run this one out.
I think would be right up there with the Japanese defeating Russia and the experience factor. Obviously, Japan played well in that game, and Germany here, looking at the numbers as we're watching, quite impressive to see what they're doing and getting that steal.
So the countdown is on for Team Deutschland. Trying to run Sweden out of rocks. Sweden must score 3 to force an extra. The Swedes are playing quickly. We mentioned they've got a bit of a challenge with their time clock, so they really don't have time to waste between shots. Trying to throw another guard.
Yeah, they got to be persistent and try and put these guards up, give themselves a chance, and going to need some mistakes from Germany to score 3. You know, as you see, no guards out in front, so tough to do so.
They definitely need a nose hit or a jam or something like that to go their way.
Annalena Jens.
Maike. Hard, Maike. Hard, Maike.
And there's that miss that we were talking about. So will that be crucial? So
That was if it was going to happen, and there it was.
Well, this experienced Swedish team know what they need to do to try and engineer a 3. It's a pretty simple formula. You have to make everything, and you need a miss or two from your opposition. That's one miss that they have now from the Germans.
Yeah, now you got to capitalize and make your shots. Well, now change. Looks like try and go around it.
Oh, and she clips it going by.
Just in between. So we'll look over Finland and Italy. Ninth end of this one. Federica Apollonio. Chance to get a little bit closer. You see the switch of the sweepers. Try and hold the line, get past the guard, and draw in for a second point. Cut the lead in half. Still a long way back for Italy, but at one point,
they were down 6-1, so they've scrapped their way back into that game. Meanwhile, back on our feature game, Germany trying to run Sweden out of rocks. Hits and sticks, and it stays in the back of the house, so that'll be another stone that the Swedes can use.
It's one stone closer to running them out, but now more stones for them to use.
Well, Sweden's got 3 to come, and they need them all. Again, playing quickly. 1 minute 11 left on their time clock. They really need to weld this one perfectly on the backstone. Can't afford a gap or any kind of separation. Need it to curl to get a great line, but it doesn't look like it's going to finish quite hard enough, and it's a small bounce and it rolls away.
So that'll give an open look here.
Wide open hit for the win for Daniela Drendel. And she'll be just trying to calm herself down. We see a bit of a broom bang on the way down. She knows it's in her own hands here.
Just go through the same routine.
Just trying to keep calm and throw it clean. But if you would have asked her at the beginning of the game on your first shot of the 10th, if you've got an open hit to win this game, would you take it? She'd say yes in a heartbeat. So a big moment here for German curling.
Just shows how deep the field is, and Germany hadn't been for a while other than Andrea Schopp. This team was at the Worlds last year, 4-7, win their first game against Korea, now playing in this one, trying to knock off Sweden. An open hit will do that.
Sauber means clean, that means she's close.
And cleaning this one up to run Sweden out of stones.
And there you have it. A huge upset for the Germans. They have won this game and defeated the former world champion Sweden in the process, taking their record to 2-0.
So Sweden will drop to 1-1, and it is Germany improving to 2-0. Their reward for winning their second game, they go back on the ice tonight and play Scotland.
Well, they'll be doing it with a smile on their face, and you can see the big smiles there from the German. They know how big that win was.
Played a solid game, 83% as a team.
Thank you. Puh. Da bräuchte erstmal einen Drink dafür.
Welcome back to bonus coverage here at the 2016 World Women's Curling Championships. We've seen a Japanese win, we've seen a German win. And are we going to see a miracle comeback from the Italians? They were trailing this match 7-1, but they're lying 2, and they're trying to guard here in the 10th end. looking to pull a Houdini act out of the hat here, I'd say, Luke.
Yeah, they lie the tying points right now. And here we're in third stones. Stefania Menardi. Brings it tight to the house, so there is a chance Una Costa could call for a slash in, try and get a couple of them moving.
Well, we know she's definitely going to look to hit something. She's looking at the angles. Surely she can't be looking at trying to play a hit on the shot rock. She's looking just to see where the contact point is for a run back on the center guard, I think, Luke.
And to get all, maybe even get all three of them moving.
Yes. But regardless of the outcome, it's really a brave comeback for this Italian team, which is going to boost their confidence. Generous round of applause here from this knowledgeable curling crowd for the German team as they walk to the dressing room area. They understand that that was a big victory for the Germans.
Well, Mia Helston, a third for Team Finland, asked to try and get all three of the yellow moving.
She's got one. Does she have
she's
more than
close, and will just get the one.
So Team Italy lives to breathe another breath. 2 stones to come for each team.
Well, tough. You see those twos in the first and second ends by Team Finland. Those were stolen points. Right now, it's a 2-point game. Even if those were steals of 1, we'd have a tie. You'd have a tie game. So something to build on, to look at, knowing that they've fought back. They've stayed right in there.
Well, and this one is not over yet. If Federica Apollonio can nail this guard, we could be in for a very interesting finish. They like the line. Sliding deeper than they'd like, however. They'd like it to come short. It's coming very near to the rings. Might
Right
want
to
to
it.
freeze her own. Oh, disappointment for the Italians. They needed that stone to be about 5 feet short of the rings. So Una Costa now can double these stones off, but the way that they're staggered, Apollonio will have a chance to at least make her throw her last shot, but be really counting on a clean miss at that point to steal her way to an extra end. So the best hope for Italy now is that Una Costa might be a little bit full with this takeout attempt and maybe jam this stone. But yeah, big opportunity for the Italians to guard this one up, but it just slid a bit too deep.
I'll look at the numbers, 54% on the draws, 77 on 11 hits. Obviously with the lead, they number of hits in this game. Una Costa. Calling which sweeper on.
And there is the jam, so Italy has still got a breath here, Luke.
They lie 2, which would tie. You could have a chance to come in lie 3.
So you got a really interesting choice to where you put this rock. You could actually freeze your shot stone, make it difficult for them to get 2. Let's look at the stone positions here after this shot. Costa does jam and rolls off herself. So you can actually stagger these stones in such a way where it would make it very difficult for Costa to make a hit and not give up 2.
Devo pensare dopo se lei restando fuori che non fa la doppia sono 2 Steffi.
I'd be pretty tempted to try and throw the stone right in front of that shot rock.
So we see handshakes on the other just going final. Scotland defeats Korea, running them out of stones 8-6. So Scotland in the win category. They're first, and Korea 0-2 now. Yeah, looking at it, if you come and you just, even if you freeze your own in the top of the forefoot,
makes it very difficult for Costa to double them off either way, either trying to make the sideways double or the straight back double. Very, very interesting. We heard freeze.
well, this would be something. valiant effort so far to get to this point. Now, one-shot execution. You can really help yourself to try and get it. Steal in this 10th end, down 2.
That's right, Italy must steal 2.
Both these teams looking for their first win. Apollonio.
Sí, sí, sí. No, Nani. Wow, wow. Sí, sí, sí. Parte che buona. Sí. Tutta. Tutta lo stesso.
Might overcurl, but she might get a little bump off that rock and sit in front of it herself. That might not be bad.
Yeah, real
That's not a bad result.
gratuitous break to chip off it, roll in there.
Not a bad result.
It rolled off a hair more. It's probably
It did.
a little better, but now there's a big wall to throw at.
So Una Kausta, if she just hits that second shot stone on the high side, she can make effectively, it won't be a triple takeout, it'll jam, but she would reduce Italy to 1. But she has to be really precise. She can't be wide. She just has to hit the outside stone first, really, but just super thin, almost right between the 2 stones. If she does that, she'll eliminate 2 Italian shots and win the game. If she overcurls, she'll nose the second shot and Italy will steal 2. If she's a bit wide, she'll roll over the top of the other 2 and Italy will steal 2. The other option might be to draw the pin, but boy, you're looking at 3. You could lose the game right here. So
And I don't think she's thrown a draw in a long time.
we saw her shooting percentage on draws. She's 54% on the draws, so I do think the hit is the shot, but no margin for error here. So boy, oh boy, huge comeback for the Italians. And here we are, last rock of the last game active here on this 4th draw. Una Kausta of Finland.
Could use her brother's hit weight, Aku, who
Aku would throw a
finished 4th
heater.
at the World's men's last year. Una will try and throw hit weight, get rid of a couple, and her first victory. Well,
Where's the contact point?
get rid of 2 of them, push it away.
Just
Will it go
pushes it
far
out,
enough?
and it's a win for Finland. But boy, oh boy, what a great comeback from Team Italy.
They'll get a steal. It'll go down an 8-7 victory. But nervous moments for Finland late in that one as Finland gets their first win. Italy drops to 0-3, but we'll definitely use that to build towards the rest of the week with that comeback.
Here we see on the replay, hits it right in the crotch, moves that stone back, just enough to push it out of the rings for second shot, and Finland escapes with a win. So recapping our game today, Team Japan rolls to a 3-0 record, winning that one 6-1 over Russia. Big, big win for Fujisawa and her teammates. Russia falls to 2-1. So let's look at some highlights from the Russia-Japan game. 6th end of play. Japan in a bit of trouble, but watch this. Straight back and sticks it perfectly. What a great raise takeout there by Satsuma Fujisawa. Leaving a difficult shot for Anna Sidorova to try and save something out of this end. But she jams it, and it's a big steal for Japan. Into the 7th end now, following a great hit and freeze by Japan. Sidorova with a very difficult and delicate shot on her last to try and somehow save one. Sweeping it to hold the line, makes the contact, but just rolls away, and Japan steals another one. High fives for Team Japan, and in the ninth end, Japan runs Russia not quite out of rocks, but the Russians had enough today. Japan was too strong, and it was a 6-1 win for the powerful team from Tokoro in Japan. Picking up our other games here, we saw that a big upset for the Germans, 9-3 over Sweden. Finland pulls out an 8-7 win over Italy, and Eve Muirhead from Scotland gets on the board with her first win, 8-6 over Korea. Taking a look at the standings then after session 4, Japan at the top of the table, 3-0. Canada with another difficult comeback win earlier today is on 2-0, as are the Germans. Russia is at 2-1, Denmark and Scotland both on 1-1 records. Sweden and Switzerland also on 1-1. Finland with their first win goes to 1-2. Korea, the United States, and the Italians all looking for their first win.
Satsuki, congratulations. How do you guys feel you're playing right now?
今のプレーは今までのプレーはどう思いますか？
まずはそうですね。すべての試合でいいショットがつながっていますし、大きなミスがなくここまで来れてるのが良かったかなと思ってます。
Okay. I'm feeling pretty happy that so far we've been making all our good shots and pulling them together and playing consistently.
And you guys just seem like you're having so much fun. Is there a key that you guys work as a team?
結構みんなが結構楽しんでやってるでしょうか？チームとしてのキーポイントはありますか？
そうですね。まあ私たちのチームは見ていただいて分かる通り、すごくスマイルのあるチームなので、それが試合の中でも出てれば調子がいいんだなっていうふうに思ってもらえればいいかなと思います。
As you can see from watching us, we're a team that actually enjoys playing, and I hope that we can continue doing so, and I hope that everyone enjoys watching.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.